Welcome to NSIAS. Today we will continue our PYQ analysis for Civil Services and Group 1 preliminary examination. Today we are actually doing the third session, right? So let me share the screen. We will see some more questions today. So friends, this is a very interesting question. ఎందుకంటే ఆల్వేస్ వాట్ ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ had actually exported from India అనేది generally not known. They came for trading, but what did they do from the main station of Bengal for them? That's a very interesting question. The staple commodities of export by the English East India Company from Bengal in the middle of the 18th century. What are these things? One, they given raw cotton, oil seeds and opium. Then sugar, salt, zinc and lead. So if you can understand, sugar, salt, zinc and lead are not always the top raw materials for the British industries. So how you need to understand is, by the middle of the 18th century, that means 1700s, what actually are the requirements? What is the state of British economy that they were seeking exports from India? Middle of the 18th century is the time when the industrial revolution just started. And friends, it is the main thing is that they had lot of modern industrial mills, textile mills. Obviously వాళ్ళకి cotton kavali, right? So obviously cotton is only in one aspect here. So raw cotton is there, of course. Yeah, that's a very confusing thing. I will explain that. They had cotton and also silk, because by the middle of the 18th century Indian silks were still in lot of demand in Europe. వాటి వల్ల క్వాలిటీ వల్ల చాలా డిమాండ్ ఉండేది. సో సిల్క్ వాజ్ ఇస్ దేర్. సాల్ట్పీటర్ ఈజ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఫర్ మేకింగ్ గన్ పౌడర్, and they were fighting many wars, so obviously that is also one important source. And then opium. See, they were selling opium in China and other parts, so this has lot of demand. Bengal is a good center for opium production. Okay, so obviously the answer is 4: cotton, silk, saltpeter and opium. So British, the main staple commodities exported by English East India Company from Britain in the middle of the 18th century were cotton, silk, saltpeter and opium. Then the next important question is, which of the following is a very significant aspect of Champaran Satyagraha? Okay, so now let me read out these things. Champaran Satyagraha is by Mahatma Gandhi, right? In 1917 and 18, the early struggles started by Mahatma Gandhi, local struggles or local satyagrahas started by Mahatma Gandhi were Champaran Satyagraha. Okay, Champaran Satyagraha, then Ahmedabad Mill Strike and Kheda Satyagraha. These are the three struggles, local struggles Gandhiji fought before joining the national movement. Okay, so this is obviously in a village called Champaran in Bihar. The issue here is, there is a system called Teen Katya system. Please make a note. Teen Katya system means, 1/3 of the land, all the farmers in this place in Bihar, they were supposed to reserve it for indigo cultivation. Indigo is very important for dye, which are used as raw materials for British textile factories. So obviously that is the thing. It's a mandated or forced cultivation, and of course farmers were unable to use it for the complete purpose of their land cultivation. వాళ్ళు పొలంలో 1/3 వంతు దీనికే ఉంచాలి అంటే ఇండిగో కల్టివేషన్. తీన్ కాతియా అంటే పొలాన్ని 3 భాగాలు చేసి, that one part should be devoted to the indigo cultivation. So that is the point. So there is a local farmer, you should also write this. His name is Raj Kumar Shukla. అది కూడా అడగచ్చు in examination, in the preliminary they can also ask who invited Gandhiji to participate in Champaran Satyagraha అని కూడా అడగచ్చు. He is called Raj Kumar Shukla. See, by 1917 itself, Gandhiji was popular as a savior of the poor because of his success in South African struggle to protect poor Indians' rights. So he wrote a letter to Gandhiji that why don't you come and solve our problem, Gandhiji immediately visited. Of course, there are other people like Mahadev Desai, Babu Rajendra Prasad. These are the people who is there are about 5 members of Gandhiji's close associates. They visited, and this is how Gandhiji made a study, and he submitted a letter to the government, and government accepted this and appointed a committee, inquiry committee on this Teen Katya system, in which Gandhiji was also made member. So obviously this is how after that the Teen Katya system ni abolish చేశారు. ఇది చాంపారన్ సత్యాగ్రహ precisely. ఇందులో ఏముంది, which of the following is very significant aspect of the Champaran Satyagraha? Active all India active participation across India from lawyers, students, women and national movement? No, this is not correct. Active involvement of Dalit and tribal communities in India in national movement? No. Then joining of peasant unrest to India's national movement. Then drastic decrease in the cultivation of plantation crops and commercial crops. This is associated with the peasants movement. And friends, a national leader, of course Gandhiji did not jump into national movement by that time, but Champaran Satyagraha brought the focus, national focus to the country about the horrible condition of the peasants, and gradually, by the time of All India Kisan Congress in Lucknow in 1936, we see a stage from Champaran Satyagraha to 1936 All India Kisan Congress, when Jawaharlal Nehru was made the president. We see the integration of peasant issues with the national movement. So here C is the correct answer for this. Then the next one, who among the following are the founders of Hind Mazdoor Sabha established in 1948? Here of course these are all communists and leftists, but then the exact answer for this is Ashok Mehta, T.S. Ramanujam and G.G. Mehta. These are the socialists. They are also active, some of them were also active in Congress Socialist Party, which is called CSP, established in 1934 within the Congress. So others are complete leftists. Communist party members are also. Veerasilingam is obviously a social reformer also. M.N. Roy and Jay Prakash Narayan, Deen Dayal, these are fine, but the actual founders are Ashok Mehta, T.S. Ramanujam and G.G. Mehta. Then the next is this is again, see in the last 3 questions, if you see last 3 sets of previous questions, డెఫినెట్గా బుద్ధిజం జైనిజం మీద ఒక క్వశ్చన్ వస్తున్నాయి, రిలీజియస్ మూమెంట్స్ మీద. సో యూపీఎస్సీ ఆర్ గ్రూప్ 1 ఎగ్జామినేషన్ ప్రిలిమినరీ రిలీజియస్ మూమెంట్స్ ఆర్ వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. దిస్ ఇస్ ద పాయింట్ యూ షుడ్ మేక్. దీస్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఆర్ పిక్డ్ అప్ ఫ్రమ్ 3 different years of యూపీఎస్సీ ప్రిలిమినరీ ఎగ్జామినేషన్. ద పర్పస్ ఈస్ టు డూ సమ్ PYQs. తర్వాత మనం ప్రతి చాప్టర్లో ఇంపార్టెంట్ కూడా కొన్ని మోస్ట్ ఎక్స్పెక్టెడ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ తీసుకుచేద్దాం, which are prepared by me. But then here it is actually the question is about Jainism. Okay, now this Stanakwasi sect is associated with Svetambara Jainism. Now what is the difference between Svetambara, Digambara Jains? We know that in the time of Bhadrabahu and Stulabhadra, in the time Mauryan period, there is a division of Svetambara and Digambara division, right? Svetambaras are headed in those days by Stulabhadra and Digambaras were by Bhadrabahu, but over a period of time we have again different sects in Jainism. Now Stanakavasi sect is actually belong to Svetambara sect of Jainism. Now what is the main principle? They do not agree to the idol worship. If you see, Jainism idol worship is very popular in Jainism because Tirthankaras, the 24 Tirthankaras, whether it's Adinada or Vrishabhanada or Parsunada, 23rd Tirthankara, అదేవిధంగా వర్ధమాన మహావీర, వీళ్ళందరినీ కూడా ఈ 24 తీర్థంకర్స్ని స్టాచ్యూస్లా చేయడం, వర్షిప్ చేయడం అనేది జైన మతంలో కనిపిస్తుంది. బట్ దిస్ Stanakwasi sect is actually against this idol worship because they are Svetambara Jains and also they are against idol worship. This is the important point you need to remember about Stanakwasi. Yesterday's previous session we always see that there is questions on Buddhist texts like Sautantrikas, like Samityas. Now this Tanakavasi is a sect belonging to Jainism, Shvetambara Jainism. Okay. Now here, with reference to cultural history of India, consider the following statement. White marble was used in Buland Darwaja and Khanaka at Fatehpur Sikri. Red sandstone and marble were used in Bara, Imam Bara and Rumi Darwaja in Lucknow. Of course, Fatehpur Sikri was built by Akbar, but this is actually not the correct answer. White marble was used definitely to an extent, but then it is not as significant as saying that white marble was used. So this answer is not entirely correct. Then red sandstone and marble were used in making Bara, Imam Bara or Rumi Darwaja. This was built in late 18th century, around 1784 by Asafud-Dawla. He is Nawab of Awadh at that point of time. So, but then red sandstone were not using. Red sandstone was essentially a characteristics of Mughal architecture. So, these two are wrong. Okay, neither one nor two is the correct answers here. You have to mark. You can remember that these two, of course, Buland Darwaja is the entirely Islamic architecture in Fatehpur Sikri. Fatehpur Sikri itself is constructed by Akbar as a fort-cum palace near Agra. Interesting point ఏంటంటే అక్బర్ మత విధానంలో ఏ విధమైన లౌకిక పాలసీ లేదా లిబరల్ పాలసీ అనుసరించాడో అదేవిధంగా ఫతేపూర్ సిక్రీ కన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్ ఆర్ సీన్ యాజ్ ఏ విజువల్ ట్రీట్ ఆఫ్ అక్బర్స్ లిబరల్ ఐడియాలజీ. అంటే ఆయన యొక్క ఉదాత్తమైనటువంటి మత విధానం ఇందులో కూడా కనిపిస్తుంది. We have Hindu style of architecture, we have Rajput style of architecture, of course, then we have Buddhist and Jain architecture, Jodhabai Mahal, Panch Mahal, Birbal House, and Buland Darwaja is entirely in Islamic architecture. Buland Darwaja was constructed in the memory of Akbar's victory over Gujarat. ఇది కూడా చాలా పాపులర్ బిట్. ఏ సందర్భంలో దేని గురించి నిర్మించాడు అనేది, ఇది ఎవరు కట్టారు అనేది గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. Bara, Imam Bara and Rumi Darwaja at Lucknow are regional architecture of Awadh. Asafud-Dawla was the person who has constructed this in the late 18th century. It means 1780s 84 ప్రాంతంలో దీన్ని కట్టాడు. బట్ యూపీఎస్సీలో ఈ ప్రశ్నలో దీనికి ఆన్సర్ ఏంటంటే neither 1 nor 2. Next, which of the following travelers elaborately discussed about diamonds and diamond mines of India, especially of Golconda? Chala important for group 1 also, Telangana group 1. This is Tavernier. He was actually a diamond merchant himself. Okay, then the next important is, with reference to the Indian history, who among the following is a future Buddha yet to come to save world? Chala important to please note down these points. See, according to Mahayana Buddhism, Buddha, there is a Buddha cycle. Cycle ante cycle riksha kadu, but it's an avataras, Buddha's avataras. Okay, there are 5 avataras for Buddha according to Mahayanism. Krakuchanda, Kanakamuni, I repeat, Kanakamuni. Then Kasyayana, 4th one is Kasyayana. Then 5th one is see, Krakuchanda, Kanakamuni, Kasyayana. 4th is Sakyamuni, 5th is Maitreyi. 5 avataralu. This is called Buddha cycle, and this is a very, very important philosophical aspect of Mahayana Buddhism. What are the 5 avatars of Buddha according to Mahayanism? Krakuchanda, Kanakamuni, Kasyayana, Sakyamuni, Maitreyi. Future Buddha is yet to come. It is Mahayana Buddhists believe that he would come on a white horse, should set things back in order again in the world. మళ్ళీ ప్రపంచంలో ఉన్నటువంటి దుఃఖాన్ని వాటిని తొలగించడానికి ఒక తెల్ల గుర్రం మీద ఈ బుద్ధుడు మళ్ళీ వస్తాడు అని చెప్పి వీళ్ళు నమ్ముతారు. దీన్ని మైత్రేయి అంటారు. ఇవి మిగతా 5 అవతారాలు ఏమిటి అనేది కూడా మీరు గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి. ఇవన్నీ బోధిసత్వులు. అవలోకేతేశ్వర, లోకేశ్వర, మైత్రేయి, పద్మపాణి ఇవన్నీ ఏంటంటే బోధిసత్వుల పేర్లు. That is again they are in the Mahayana Buddhism, compassionate ones. In the previous session 2 we had a question on bodhisattvas, the compassionate one who will help people to get salvation. Adi. Then which of the following statements does not apply to the subsidiary alliance introduced by Lord Wellesley? All 3 are first 2 Maintain a large army, a standing army. Subsidy alliance purpose se adi. Nizam, Hyderabad Nizam, very important for group 1 also. Hyderabad Nizam was the first person to enter into this subsidiary alliance, where the East India Company will station some army at Nizam's own expenses to protect him from internal and external problems. So adi correct. To keep India safe from Napoleonic danger, no, ఇది అప్పటికి ఇష్యూ కాదు, నెపోలియన్ ఇష్యూ ఇక్కడ లేదు. Then to secure a fixed income for the company, yes, because every time for the maintenance of this army, East India Company will get some money. To establish British paramountcy over Indian states, it is definitely correct. For a period of time, ఈ వాళ్ళ అంటే ఇది as simple as this. You appoint a security guard to your home, and after that ఆ సెక్యూరిటీ గార్డ్ మననే డామినేట్ చేసేసి మనల్నే తీసుకుని మన మూల కూర్చోబెడితే ఎలా ఉంటుందో గదిలో, ఇట్ ఈస్ లైక్ దిస్. బ్రిటిష్ వర్ అటెంప్టింగ్ టు ప్రొవైడ్ లైక్ ద ప్రైవేట్ సెక్యూరిటీ ఏజెన్సీస్లో పనిచేసి చివరికి ఈ స్వదేశీ పాలకుల సైన్యాన్ని అంతా కూడా వాళ్ళు నిర్వీర్యం చేయడం జరిగింది. సో డస్ నాట్ అప్లై అని అడిగారు కాబట్టి, which of the following statements does not apply అని అడిగారు కాబట్టి B is the answer here, to keep India safe from the Napoleonic danger. Next, education. This is also very important point. Which of the following led to the introduction of English education in India? Charter Act of 1813, first rupees 1 lakh was granted for the spread of to be spent on education. Next, ఇది మెకాలే అధ్యక్షతన జనరల్ కమిటీ ఆఫ్ పబ్లిక్ ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్ ఎలా చేయాలి, అసలు ఈ 1 lakh హౌ డు యూ స్పెండ్ అని చెప్పి వాళ్ళు మెన్షన్ చేయడం జరిగింది. ఈ సందర్భంలో ఓరియంటలిస్ట్ ఆంగ్లిసిస్ట్ కాంట్రవర్సీ. ఓకే, రాధాకాంత్ దేవ్ ఆయన ధర్మసభ అనే దాన్ని ఒకటి సెటప్ చేశాడు, గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. అండ్ రాజా రామ్మోహన్ రాయ్ ఇస్ బ్రహ్మ సమాజ్. ద ధర్మసభ అండ్ బ్రహ్మ సమాజ్, దీస్ టూ ఆర్ ఆపోజిట్. Raja Ram Mohan Rai wanted English education, whereas Radhakant Dev and others wanted Sanskrit old education. వీళ్ళిద్దరూ ఏంటంటే వెలస్లీ దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి విలియం బెంటిక్ దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి, గవర్నర్ జనరల్ విలియం బెంటిక్ బై ద టైమ్, విలియం బెంటిక్ దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి దే యూస్ టు ఈట్ హిస్ బ్రెయిన్. వీళ్ళందరూ మాకు సాంస్క్రిట్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ కావాలని, వాళ్ళందరూ మాకు ఇంగ్లీష్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ కావాలని. సో దిస్ కాంట్రవర్సీ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ఓరియంటలిస్ట్ అండ్ ఆంగ్లిసిస్ట్ కాంట్రవర్సీ. అండ్ ఫ్రెండ్స్, William Bentinck, to decide what way the education should take in India and decide cheyadaniki, he has set up Macaulay Merit, and depending on its recommendations in 1835 modern English education was introduced in India. So obviously 1, 2, 3 are correct. All these stages one by one that helped. Then in 1920, which of the following changed its name to Swaraj Sabha? That is All India Home Rule League. Okay, Home Rule has wanted the self rule, and 1920 this has been changed as Swaraj Sabha. So this is how you need to remember these points. So friends, what I want to tell you is that it is a very very useful way to practice questions like this. ఒక క్వశ్చన్ చదివినప్పుడు హౌ ఇట్ ఈస్ రిలవెంట్ అనేది, దీస్ ఆర్ ఆల్ PYQs అండ్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ క్వశ్చన్స్. యూ ప్లీజ్ యూజ్ దెమ్ టు టెస్ట్ యువర్ నాలెడ్జ్ ఆర్ ఆల్సో క్రియేట్ ఎ బిగ్ బ్యాంక్. Already we got some 30 important questions. Like that, if you do some 200-300 most important questions, definitely అందులోంచి కొన్ని వచ్చే అవకాశం ఉంది. So the purpose of doing this is to help you to get a overall view, and also to provide you what kind of questions, what is the nature of questions that are being asked in the preliminary అనే దాని గురించి కూడా తెలియజేస్తుంది. So I hope this will be useful to you, for all of you. Okay, so please study and we'll continue this. Okay, thank you.